Hopefully this will pick up all of you guys. Today it's Wednesday again, so we're going to have a Let's Talk Tunisian. I'll give everybody a few minutes to join in here. I hope everyone's TCAL is coming along nicely. I know that we've had a few questions and I've answered as many as I can. The border will be coming along early next week, so I hope that helps. For some reason my phone is doing some crazy thing here. I'll give everybody a few minutes to jump on. We've had a few questions about the hooks again, and one of the members asked, all of our lives, they do stay up in the group. I know a few people know how to join or to like search groups, and others don't. If there's a question that you have, for the most part in a group, at the top of the page it'll say like videos and announcements and events. All of that's listed up there, and when you're in the group on the main page, the search symbol's up there, so if you want to, you can actually click on the search symbol and look up what you want to find, as far as the videos and stuff like that. So I hope that helps. All of our videos are in our albums, and there's actually a couple albums. There's a right-handed and left-handed and closed captioned, to try to make it easier for everybody. So I hope everybody's TCAL's coming along good. Let me see if I can get... Aha, there you are, Melinda. My phone did some crazy thing where I now have buttons on the right hand, left hand side of my screen, and I'm not even going to try to get them off because it'll kick me out of the live. So, I hope everybody's TCAL's coming along well, for those of you that have done it. Does anybody have any questions this evening? I know that we've gotten quite a few new members over the last week. A lot of new people are here, talking about like incorporating the borders and how to do that and what stitch we use. So we do have videos on those. So is anybody having any problems with what they've got going on? Does everybody's happy here? Did anybody have any questions about books or, hi Mary. Any of the newbies have questions? Hi Angela. Yeah, my phone's doing some crazy stuff this afternoon. It's saying that y'all are watching. Yeah, so I'm hoping to get the video up early next week for the border. I know that a lot of people aren't working on anything else, like Christmas orders or whatever, and they've kind of got their blanket done, so that's what they're waiting on the border. Like I said, there's no rush to get this done. I know that, you know, people have Christmas orders and everything else, so this will be staying up for a while. The border that we're going to be doing has the mitered corners. So, you know, pick out whatever yarn you guys want to use for that and have that ready. I have not gauge swatched the border to be able to tell you how much yarn you're going to need for that. I do apologize. But you know, it's going to depend too on how big your blanket is. What else do we have going on? I see that a lot of you are doing different cowls and things, and it's nice to see, you know, all the stuff that's going on. I will be getting the poll up here. I want to get it in around Christmas time, in between Thanksgiving and Christmas, for the next cowl that we're going to be doing for the shawl, and see what everybody is thinking about that. The triangle, when I did the last live, a lot of the people voted on the triangle and said that they really liked that. So we actually may do one of each, but it's just going to take me a little bit. We'll probably do the triangle one first since it got the most votes so far. But we'll see. We'll throw out the polls and see what everybody says. That's one of the things too. A lot of people will join something and then they don't actually end up doing the cowl. So I know that there's a few of you that are really interested in what's going on, and that's what I want to hear the feedback from. Hi, Barbara. So, like I said, the tea cowl that's going on right now, our blanket, a lot of people have finished it. We'll be putting the border up here shortly, next week. And it's going to have the mitered corners, because that's pretty much what everybody said they liked. So far, do we have any questions about the tea cowl, or for those of you that are doing it, everybody's been able to follow along? It doesn't seem like we've had a lot of questions over there, which is, I think, good. I'm hoping that everybody understands what's going on, that they're not struggling. If you are struggling, please go into the cowl or even here and say, hey, you know, I'm having some problems with this. Because that's what this is a teaching group, and I like to keep things kind of easy here, because I remember how hard it was when I first started out and started Tunisian, and there really weren't a lot of things out about it. And it was very frustrating because there were so many different ways to do things. You know, you can look up a video and see somebody's doing it one way and another person's doing it another way, and another person may even be doing it a third way. So that's why we try to keep all of our videos in-house here too, because then it's not so confusing. Hi, Becky. So far, do we have any questions? Is there anything you guys, you know, and this is the thing, and this is another reason why I like to go live too, is because I can get input. Is there anything you guys are looking for to see in the group that you haven't seen yet? You know, that's one of the things too. We'd like to keep the group growing and keep people interested, not only the beginners that are just starting, but those that are a little more advanced too with what we're teaching here. Just keep saying who's all watching. There is one of the things I wanted to ask too, for those of you that are looking at doing the rectangle shawl, are you looking for something that's more lacy, or are you looking for something that's more, that has more substance to it? Because I know that there are people that like to wear their shawls for to add color and design to their, and then there are other people that like to wear them because generally they're cold. And that's why they like to have a shawl, because it's something you can just pack up and easily grab and put on where it's chilly. Man hats. Griselda said man hats. Yeah, I'm going to have to look into a couple of those. Griselda, do you want something that's graphed or just hats in general? Because if it's going to be graphed, we might have to work on working it up and down than to be working it circular. Because circular would be, I would like to see how to do a man Tunisian hat. Yeah, I'll have to play around with that. There's a couple patterns that I like. Some of the hats are done with the Tunisian and the round, where you're using two different colors, so a lot of the designs are graphed into it. There are other ones that are done, they're flat, and then when you get to the top, you actually do your decreases and then stitch it shut. So, hi Kimberly. I don't know what my phone is doing today. Hi Josie. Both have a hard time to do the graph. We actually have a practice swatch with graphs that's up above in our events. We actually have two events. One is the practice swatches, and they have something that's easy, like a heart, a club, a spade, and a diamond. Those are pretty easy to start with. So we have those in there, and it teaches the color changes. Yes, my phone does have a mind of its own tonight. I have to keep scrolling because it keeps telling me everybody who's watching over and over and over again. So, as I sit here in my Grinch pajamas, I've been trying to ward off a migraine all day, but it's not going anywhere. So, yeah, I will play around with the hat thing. Maybe we'll do a graphed hat and then a hat with a design in it. I know that the ones that are being done right now that are really popular, the ones with the Tunisian in the round, and I have played around with those. But one thing that I did find in my local classes is with different people having different gauges, and I think this is pretty popular even with patterns, is a lot of people do not like to do a gauge swatch. And if you don't do a gauge swatch, then what happens is people are getting hats, and your hat's supposed to be a little bit smaller than the circumference of your head. So when you put it on, it's a little bit tight, and it will give. You don't want something that's so big that you can just literally pick it up and pull it off. And what happens is when people don't gauge swatch, this is what I'm finding with a lot of my local students too, which is why we've had the conversation. Please gauge swatch things. So a lot of people don't do that. Oh, you know, it'll be fine. And then what happens is they end up with a hat that's like 22 inches with circumference, which is like a man-size hat, but yet they're trying to make a hat for like a teenager. So it doesn't come out right. So that would be one thing that would have to be a must for us, is for the gauge swatch. The only other thing that I found is there is a pattern that actually I was playing around with and coming up with on my own. I actually did a scarf, and I did the scarf on the bias. And the girl that I did the scarf with, she wanted a matching hat. And if you do the hat on the bias, then what happens is you're increasing on one side and you're keeping the other side even until you get the height that you want. And it actually had stripes in it. Well, what happens is when you do the scarf that way and you have your diagonal stripes going up when you do the hat, if you only do like 2 rows of the hat, then what happens is when you connect a hat, it almost, because you're doing it on a bias, you then have a parallelogram. And when you connect your parallelogram together, it actually gives you swirls. So you have like diagonal swirls that come up to the crown of your head. And I actually did like that. And it was one of the, it actually was born from the pattern of the scarf that I did. And I made the scarf up as I went along too. So that may be an interesting hat as well to do in here. And you could do those in colors for either male or female and make them masculine or feminine. Griselda, I did one first. I did the rib stitches for the band, then I did the Tunisian stitch for the man hat, and I forgot how I did it. Yeah, there are several that have the rib section first. And a few people that I've done hats for really like that, and a few people just want the hat. Because they like the design to come down, all the way down. Beverly, I found you again. Yay me. Hi Beverly. Yeah, we'll get a hat up in here. So, and as far as, like I said, we're going to put a poll up here shortly for the springtime cow and see whether you guys want something that is more of a lace stitch, or if you want to do the funky, if you want to do more of a lace stitch shawl for the rectangular one, or if you want something that's more of a closed stitch, because that's going to determine too what we do for the cow. I know, like I said, it depends on whether you're wearing it for a design element to your outfit, and some people like to wear them actually because they are chilly, and that's going to play big on, you know, and plus we're doing it for spring too, so I don't know. We'll see what everybody votes and then what direction we go. So far, do we have any questions? Everybody's found the tea-cow. Anybody that started it, or is anybody having any questions? Is anybody run into any problems? I know that a few of you are ordering your garment steamers so that you can block it and get it all done. Hi, Crystal. Another one of the questions that we did have, one of the members had started a blanket, and then she found the video and we were talking about the honeycomb border, and they had the question of why do you only go up 1 hook size for the honeycomb border and then 2 sizes for the Tunisian simple stitch graph. And what happens is when you make the purl stitch from holding it down, the stitch becomes a little bit wider. So what happens is if you use a hook that's 2 sizes bigger for the honeycomb border, and then for your Tunisian simple stitch Graphghan, once you get to the Graphghan, those stitches are straight up and down, and they're more dense, and the honeycomb, that purl stitch, makes things just a pinch wider. And what happens is you have that honeycomb that's just a pinch wider, but since it's over a span of 60 inches, then when you get to your Tunisian simple stitch, it sucks it in a little bit, and what happens is your border will ruffle, especially at the top and the bottom, if you do not go and change your hook size. And that is one thing too that I do mark on my patterns is, you know, if I'm adding my border, before that, if I'm adding the honeycomb border, I definitely will put, you know, in big letters when I start my pattern, change hook, because I can't tell you how many times I have done my border and then started, hi Lisa, I've started my border and then started my pattern and got like 10 rows into, I started my color change and was like, oh crap, I gotta rip all this out because it's gonna waffle because I didn't change hook sizes. So yeah, it's important to change for the honeycomb border, the hook size, because of that. Otherwise your top and bottom, they will ruffle. And I even tried my hardest to like block this thing and stretch it out a little bit more, and the best thing to do is just to change the hook size. Oh, my poor phone. Hi, Sharon. Yeah, it's doing what it wants. Oh, well. You gotta love them updates sometimes. They just, change everything for you. Yeah, so we're going to be getting the polls up here pretty soon. If you guys are interested in seeing a specific tea-cow, let us know. Let us know what you guys want to see. And, you know, I know that, you know, we've got like 10,000 members and not a lot join in on the live. They join in later on because of their time zones or whatever. But under these lives, as you watch them, you add comments. I will get the notifications for them. And the live sessions seem to be the people that have the most interest in what's going on here, and a lot of those people are the ones that are doing the tea cows and the stuff that's going on and giving input even after the video, the live is done, you know, even if they're in different time zones. So, you know, please feel free to add your input, the questions that I have, like the tea cows and what you guys want to see, because that's where I'm getting most of this. You know, a lot of times on the page we discuss it, but it's discussed more in depth here in the lives, because the feedback that I get from you guys, I seem to like take notes on and get, it's more immediate with the feedback, so I think that's good. So do we have any questions so far? Is just crazy this evening. One of the members did message me about the little favorites from Rhea Yarn. She did make a post in here to tell you guys when you come over to let her know that you come from this group, and anything that's pre-made, she'll give a discount on it. And somebody asked me about how many orders that I've gotten from her. And every time you get an order, you get a candle. And unfortunately, in one of my orders, my candle showed up very melted. I don't know if they thought that the cake yarn needed to be baked, but they melted it. It was terrible. So every time you do that, you get a candle. And all of my candles are lined up over there. I think I got about 15 maybe more. So, yeah, I've gotten a few orders. My husband doesn't know that each candle means I got an order, so I'm good. Um, yeah, so, only 15. Well, there may be a couple more over there. And one of them was melted in shipping, so, you know. Yeah, so, so, we don't see a lot of questions on here tonight, so I guess that's good. I probably am going to ask in the group as well, but I don't know how many of you actually use the cake yarns that are the thin, like the Hobby Cotton Kings or the Twisters or the Sheepish Whirl or Rhea's Little Favorites. I don't know how many of you actually use that or don't use it because it's too thin, or so I think we're probably going to do something to get some input about that for Tunisian crochet as well, because I'm really thinking about using a cake yarn for both of the shawls. And there will be, Melinda says she's never tried it yet. The only real difference that I found in the cake yarns is some of them are plied, and by plied it means they're twisted like the worsted weight yarns, and then some of them, some of the cakes are not twisted, so it literally is like, depending on what you order, as far as your strand wise, they're like 3 or 4 strands. And they're not plied. But when we do the shawl, once we get closer to that, I actually will be doing a giveaway for one of the cakes. So for all of you that join us live, you know about it. But yeah, I think that's kind of exciting. The ones that are not plied, what I found is when you crochet with them, I have a glass bead, and I don't have mine up here because I'm working on a project in the living room. But I bought a bigger glass bead, and I thread that onto the yarn, and then when I crochet, it kind of keeps the tension, because it's not plied together, it keeps the tension even on the yarn. And the other thing, a lot of people, I think this is where they get the love-hate relationship with it, is you have to pay attention when you're crocheting that, you know, you've picked up all the strands as you crochet. And, you know, when you're starting out, you're paying attention to your pattern and not so much the yarn. But I think it becomes second nature after you are crocheting with it, because you'll look down and see, you know, in your stitches, if you have missed one of those strands, you'll see that like your yarn is, it's not keeping the tautness that the bead would have, and you'll see that you can see it. But yeah, I think we're gonna use the cake yarn, and that's gonna be up to you. Cindy, are you going to do the Tunisian crochet on here? mean the shawl cowl, or do you mean the giveaway, or everything we do here is Tunisian crochet. We do have videos, Cindy. I guess I'm maybe missing what you're asking. But yeah, I mean, as far as the cows, we're going to be doing them in the group. We have events at the top of the page. Right now we're doing a Tunisian crochet corner to corner entrelac blanket. That's up in the events. There is also another event that's called a swatch event, and those are pillow size panels that are good to practice, to learn color changing and everything else. And like I said, in our albums we have our videos. We have right-handed, left-handed, and closed captioned. And we will be having the events for the shawls. They will be added. Like I said, I'm hoping to do them this spring. Get those going. And anything else that you guys want to see, like I said, give me a shout out in here or in the group and say, hey, you know, what does everybody think about this? Because I know, just like everybody else, you know, a lot of people join in to do Graphghans and everything else, but sometimes you kind of get burnt out on them. Hi, Penny. Hi, Cindy. So, yeah, please feel free to add into the group, hey, this is what I'd like to see. But yeah, all of the patterns that we're going to be doing will be in here, and if there's any special stitches, we'll have a video on those. Those will be added at the time, and like I said, we're going to run a poll later to see if they want a lacier rectangular shawl, or if you guys want a solid shawl. A video of you actually crocheting live for us to see how it's done. Just regular, Bunky, you gotta get down. Just regular Tunisian simple stitch, or a Graphghan, or are you talking about the Tunisian crochet cows that we have going on? You look nice, by the way. Thank you. I got my Grinch pajamas on. Like I said, unfortunately, I have been fighting a migraine this evening, so when my husband got home from work, I had my Grinch hat all pulled up, and I was sitting on the couch, and he was laughing at me because it's got like fur on the top of it. So he laughed at me because I was Grinched out. So, yeah, Cindy, are you looking for just regular Tunisian crochet, or are you looking for the, you know, as we do the shawls, or like what exactly are you looking for? And then that'll help me answer you. On another note, there was a member that messaged me because we had a discussion in here about the metal Tunisian crochet hooks. The Addy Click metal Tunisian crochet hooks, I do talk about these a lot when it comes down to people asking for the metal crochet hooks. And these, I do like these. They're more expensive, and they only come with the hooks. The larger sizes are acrylic. The two larger ones, they have like glitter in them. I do like the metal, but one of the questions that she had was, you know, I don't really mention the Susan Bates makes them. The Susan Bates, the hooks, they're not sold in a set. They're sold individually, And to me, they're aluminum, but they're almost like they're hollow, and the cable is not interchangeable. Um, so since the cable's not interchangeable, I kind of didn't like them. They really, really felt cheap. Um, but I know a lot of people have them and use them. I actually do have one or two of them, but since I ordered, you know, Knitter's Pride and the other sets that I have, I use them over those. Um, Actually, I did have a bunch of the Susan Bates, and a lot of times I will give them to some of my local students. Um, Cindy, anything you would like to share? I actually have not done a live, this is Jessica crocheting. I do have a lot of videos that teach like the different stitches, and I try to keep those short and sweet and to the point, because I know, hi Brenda, I know how many times I have gone onto YouTube or whatever to watch a video, and they're teaching you something, and they talk and they talk and they, and I am like, I'm trying to learn this stitch, can you just so that was one of the things that a lot of people asked me was, hey, you know, if you're going to do tutorials, please keep them, you know, short and to the point. Hi, Cece. Hi, Linda. So I do try to keep them short and to the point for the tutorials, but I could do a video of just Tunisian crochet, I suppose. I find it very relaxing, for the most part. Um, with the tea cow that's going on right now, we did this because it's super easy. It's squares. You can do it with a regular crochet hook. We wanted something that was very beginner friendly, and we're going to be adding the border here shortly. Like I said, early next week. I know that a lot of you are doing other cows in other groups as well, and this year I actually decided not to take Christmas orders. I had a few that I chose to take, but they were smaller orders. And the reason that I did this was because I had been watching, there's another cow that's going on, and it's regular crochet. Excuse me. And it's the Rosetta cow, and I know a lot of you have seen on my page, on my personal page, that I'm actually working on it, and I didn't get my kit until late. So now, like, they just released week 4, and I just got mine like a week ago, so I am feverishly trying to crochet and catch up. And they sold out of tons of them. They didn't imagine that they were going to sell this many of them. So yeah, any of you that want to see it, my page is actually public, so you can pop on over to my page and see it. But yeah, I'm working on that as well. And somebody asked me if I was doing it in Tunisian, and I actually may, after everything is said and done, I may try it in Tunisian. But I just at this point want to be able to keep up with everybody else. So, do we have any more questions this evening? Melinda says it's gorgeous. Thank you. I'm really happy with the way that the colors are coming out and how bright it is, and I'm really happy with it. So, I'm excited. Although they're getting to overlay stitches right now, and I'm a little nervous. Although I'm a week behind too, so seeing everybody's, I'm like, I want to be that far. So, another member in our group, they ordered hooks and they came in broke from Amazon. One of them did, and Amazon corrected the order and is sending them another set of hooks. And I know one of the members in here said that they did not do that for them, and I was a little sad to hear that. I don't know if it's who you get or where you order through, or if it's where you live that they don't do that all the time, or if you order a good bit from Amazon. I'm not quite exactly sure how that works. But I was very upset with their customer service. They should do it across the board, because, you know, I did get one broke too. I ordered like 10 or 12 sets for students I had. So when one of them come in broke, they just sent me another set. Any more questions this evening? Yeah, and as this thing gets, as these cows get bigger, it's kind of hard to take pictures of them. Even the tea cow that we have going on here, once I got halfway done, I'm kind of short. So I was like, where am I going to put this thing that I can stand up high enough to even take a picture of it? Because I'm not that tall at all. Actually, I'm under 5 foot, so um, I'm a wee little thing. And actually, I think, depending on the popularity of these cows and what's going on here, we're going to see. I'm thinking about maybe doing the triangular shawl in like a cake from Rhea, and then maybe one of the rectangular one, maybe in a cake from Hobby. I don't know. We'll see. We've got to get the polls and everything else up. I just am trying to think, because I do have so many colors. Okay, well, if we have no more questions this evening, then I think I'm going to wrap this up and go down and work some more on the tea cow that we have going on. I have fallen a little behind with mine just because I was so excited about the other cows that are going on. It's so hard to keep up when there's so many beautiful things to make, you know. And I definitely can understand people's, you know, OCD that you want to finish a product, but yet the ADHD that's like, oh, look at that one, because they come out with so many fantastic ones that, you know, you kind of feel like Pokemon, I gotta catch them all. So, yeah, it's hard to, because so many beautiful stuff coming out. And, you know, it's especially hard, like I said, when it comes out around the holidays, because now you've got orders, but yet you've got this other stuff that you want to make. So it makes it a little more difficult. So, I hope that you all have a fantastic evening. Please, 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 Melinda's laughing. Please don't hesitate to ask questions in here or say what you want to see. You know, it's so important that you members have input in what's going on, because you guys are what keeps the group growing, and it's your word of mouth, and it's you guys that are in the crochet community as well that spread the word of Tunisian crochet. And, you know, whether you like our group or you enjoy the videos, or and I need to hear that input too, like if the videos go too fast or you need closed caption, or hey, I'm left-handed, or whatever. It makes it nice to be able to hear from you guys so that we can adapt, so that everybody can learn. And that's what I want. I want it across the board, the opportunity for everybody to be able to follow along, whether it's you're hearing impaired, you're left-handed, you're right-handed, you need something that goes slower, whatever you guys want to see. Yeah, let us know. And we will do the best that we can do to accommodate it. And I definitely will do my best to accommodate whatever you guys want. I try to think of, our crochet group and all of you guys as members as my big family, that we can share crafts with, and we can talk about what's going on and what we need help with, and, it's a big supportive community. Beverly, have you ever done a project using the version of Tunisian where you have different colors on each side? Brenda says, I love this group. Thank you. That means a lot to me. It does. Do you mean with the double-ended hooks, Beverly, where you're turning your work? I think they call that crochet on the double, and it has a couple names actually. But the double-ended hooks, yes, I have used those. And there's two ways that you can actually do that. One is where you have the hook on each side, and then you have two different balls going, and you flip the work back and forth. So what happens is you end up with a design on each side. It's just like if you're using red and green, then you'll have more red on this side, more green on this side. So it makes a more reversible project. Also, they have Tunisian in the round where you're crocheting and it's almost like a granny square kind of, or a circular motif, and you cast on so many and then you cast off so many. And a lot of those are done with a Tunisian knit stitch and Tunisian reverse stitch. Exactly. Yes, exactly. I can never keep up with a name. I've been doing it for probably 25 years or more. Yes, I have done a couple projects with it. I do like it. There are so many things that I want to try, and that's, the thing about it too is when you sell Graphghans and you sell a certain product, sometimes you get locked into that. And that was one of the things that I was having a conversation about today. I actually have, it's a compression hanger for quilts, and you can actually make these, and it's like two pieces of wood and two screws, and the screws go through, and then there's little hangers in the back, and you can hang these up on the wall. And I actually have 2 Graphghans at businesses, and my cards are out, and even with just having those out, word of mouth gets around, and like orders come, and so and that's one of the things too, it's so easy to get locked into something. My one girlfriend, she makes hats, she makes scarves, and she really got locked into, oh, you need a hat, she's the person to go to. And there's times that her and I talk, and she's like, if I make another hat, I'm gonna scream. So that's the thing too. It's nice to be able to take a break from some things. Beverly says, I have been working on a temperature blanking using that method. Oh, I bet that's going to be nice. And especially because, like I said, when you flip it over, the colors are just, they're different. You'll have more color on one side and more color of the other on the other side. For what you cast on is more prevalent on the front side, and then what you cast off is more prevalent on the back side. So I did think that that was kind of neat. I actually seen a hat that was done that way with black yarn and then the color pulling yarn, and it was really pretty. So yeah, I I've played around with it, but I would love to definitely do some more. Beverly, my entire backside is red heart, super saver, heather gray. Yeah, if you use, yeah, the one side will be will be the one color. And that's what I was saying about that hat too. Um, it's black, and then it has the other color, and when you cast off you can see the other color, but then the back side was mainly black, and I thought it was super cute. So yeah, sometimes I wish there was like another day in the week that you could crochet, or like Sunday you could just pause everybody around you so they'd be in like suspended animation, and then you could crochet for like 6 to 8 hours, and then you could just hit the button and it would be 10 o'clock in the morning again, and everybody, you could just fit your chores in. It would be fantastic. Cindy said, I would love to see some of your work. I bet it's so pretty. uh, there's actually some pictures of it here. I need to get some pictures of the ones that are sitting at the shops. Um, the bad thing about that too, is you post a picture on your page, your private, your Facebook page or whatever, and then I get more orders, and I was like, I'm not doing that this winter. I really want to do something for me, and it is so hard because I don't know how many times I, or any of us, anybody that crafts, says, oh, I'm going to make this and it's going to be for me. And then you're working on it at the doctor's office, or your family member sees it and they're like, hey, you know what? I would like one of those. And you're like, well, for the ripe old price of $25, you can have this hat, or, and there goes your project. It's gone to somebody else. So, yeah, that it kind of, we end up making things that we want to keep for ourselves at the rare occasion that you do, and then it gets gifted to somebody else. That's why this one cow that I'm working on, it's not in Tunisian. That would have been fantastic if it was. That's the only thing that would have put this cow over the top that I'm working on now, and this is going to be a for me thing. It's going to stay with me. So, yeah, I'm bound and determined that this is going to stay a me project. Um, so, let's see. If there's no more questions, then, like I said, I'm going to wrap this up this evening. Please give input in the group of things you'd like to see. Brenda says she's been there. Of things you would like to see, if it's a cow, if it's you're looking for a certain, free pattern. I can't tell you how many times I go onto Ravelry and search Tunisian patterns, or even go on Google and search, Tunisian patterns, and just, you get lost in there. It's like Pinterest. A lot of people get on there and get lost. Beverly, after all these years, 50 plus, that I've been crocheting, I don't have one thing that is mine. That's kind of the boat that I'm in, but I decided that it is time to make something for me, and I have been watching this, and I knew it was going to be coming out, and I wanted to take some time for me stuff. And I think it's important. It feels good to give something away, and to hear your family members or your customers tell you what a fantastic job, and you see the pictures on Facebook, and you get you know, the feedback and a couple orders from it, and I think that's fantastic, but I think it's important to have something that's you, for you. You know, I think that that so many of us being moms or, you know, grandmas and caretakers, and, you know, we don't take the time to do enough me stuff, and I decided that I needed to take the time to do a me thing. And so that's what I'm doing. Josie said, I saw a picture of your whip. It's a beauty. Thank you. It's coming out much prettier than I thought it was going to. I was a little worried, but I do like how it's coming out. I'm excited for each week that it comes. Like I said, I did start. I'm a little behind on it because they released it and I didn't get mine package in until like 2 weeks ago, so I'm playing catch up right now. So again, we'll be adding the border for the tea cow this next week. There will be a video on how to do it, and like I said, anybody that wants to see some cows or wants to join in them, they're in the events at the top of the page. There will be more. And Melissa, darn DHL. Yeah, when the guy showed up, he's lucky he had to deal with my husband and not me. I was ready to choke him out. So, and like I said, I probably will be discussing in the group the plied and unplied yarns to see what everybody thinks, and if anybody, how many people have used the unplied yarns, because that's what I'm thinking about using. It's going to be based on weight more than it's going to be the plied, you know, whether it's plied or not. So that's what I'm trying to figure out. And like I said, we'll do a bunch of polls, and there will be a giveaway for one of the cakes to do at least the triangular shawl, and then we might do one for the rectangular one as well. We probably will. So if you guys don't have any more questions, thank you guys for joining me here to find out what's going on and to ask your questions. And I do look forward to seeing you guys here every Wednesday when I come on. And for those of you that are joining this afterwards, please add your comments. I do get the notifications and I do get to see them, so your comments as well are just as important as those that join us live. So there's all the lovely cakes down there, and so that's what we'll be using probably for the first cow, that type of yarn. And we're going to see about colors, and we're going to talk about all of that. Let's finish up this tea cow first. Please, if you have any questions, ask away, and I hope that you all have a fantastic rest of your week, and I will see you next Wednesday. Please don't hesitate to ask us anything you need here. We're always here to help. Have a great evening, guys. Thanks for joining me. Bye.